This is part 2 of the adjective clauses presentation, and in this unit we're going to talk about singular and plural verbs in adjective clauses. Now, subject-verb agreement plays a role in adjective clauses just like anywhere else that there's a subject and a verb that needs to agree with it. I have a friend who is a wonderful gardener. So the subject in the adjective clause is the word who, but who represents friend, and since friend is singular, the verb is. I have a friend who is a wonderful gardener. So a singular noun takes a singular verb. I have friends who are wonderful gardeners. Just like before, who is the subject of the adjective clause, but it's representing a plural noun, friends, so the verb is plural, are. I have friends who are wonderful gardeners. So a plural noun takes a plural verb. People who travel to other countries, blank required to have a passport. So what is the noun? In this case, the pronoun who represents the noun people. Is people singular or plural? People is plural, so the correct answer is are. People who travel to other countries are required to have a passport. A set of twins that is not identical is called fraternal. And in this case, the subject is not twins, the subject is a set. So a set that is. There are many people in Europe who speak or speaks more than one language. In this case, again, we have the word people who speak. It's a plural noun with a plural form of the verb. All right, now we're going to talk about how to use prepositions differently in adjective clauses. The new student that I talked to was excited to be in college. She looks very excited or scared. The teacher is friendly. I talked to her. So the object is her, and it's an object of a preposition. In this case, the preposition is to. There's something that we can do. We know we have to move the object to make an adjective clause, but in some cases we can also move the preposition. So we could say the teacher that I talked to is friendly. We could say the teacher I talked to is friendly. The teacher whom I talked to is friendly. But we can also, very formally, move the preposition. So not only do we move the object after we change it, we can move the preposition with it, as long as the object pronoun that we're using is whom. The teacher to whom I talked is friendly. This is informal English. So preposition plus whom for people or which for things plus the adjective clause. You can only do this with whom or which. And you must have another pronoun as subject of the adjective clause. The paper is long. I am working on it. So we have a preposition and we have a pronoun, object pronoun. The paper that I am working on is long. The paper I am working on is long. The paper which I am working on is long. Or if we want to move the preposition, the paper on which I am working is long. So again, preposition plus whom for people, or in this case, which for things, plus the adjective clause. And you must have the pronoun for the subject after the preposition and the object pronoun. Let's try to combine these. We went to a game. It was boring. The game which we went to was boring. We could also move the preposition. The game to which we went was boring. In this case, with no object pronoun, the game we went to was boring. The sculpture was interesting, the sculpture museum was interesting. We went to it. Using that, we can say the sculpture museum that we went to was interesting. Now, using whose in adjective clauses. This is going to be the last part of this chapter. The boy whose wrist is broken has a cast. So the boy has a cast, his wrist is broken. In this case, we're using whose to replace a possessive word like his. So his wrist becomes whose wrist for the purpose of the adjective clause. The boy whose wrist is broken has a cast. Whose indicates possession. And that is the adjective clause. The boy whose wrist is broken has a cast. Which boy has a cast? The one whose wrist is broken. I have a friend. Her mother is a doctor. So her mother can become whose mother? I have a friend whose mother is a doctor. And that is our adjective clause there, whose mother is a doctor. The family was moving. I bought their car. So their car can become whose car? The family whose car I bought was moving. It works as well when it's in the object position. We move it to the beginning like always. The family whose car I bought was moving. Okay, let's do a little bit of practice and that'll be it. This is my friend Ichiro. His sister is a famous scientist. This is my friend Ichiro, whose sister is a famous scientist. And we'll use the comma because it's a specific person. I go to a great doctor. She is very busy. Are we using who or whose? I go to a great doctor who is very busy. There's nothing possessive here. So we can't use whose because there's no possessive. I go to a busy doctor. Her patients often have to wait in line. How about this one? Does this have possessive? Yes, it does. I go to a busy doctor whose patients often have to wait in line. So, this has been the presentation on adjective clauses. I hope you are finishing it with a better understanding and will be able to use this in everyday life and in class.